Yeah, you tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Cuey, H 2.0. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear.
Welcome to the Queendom, H 2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and realize. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must.
This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought.
Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me unleash the dragon.
Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden. I hope y'all can hear me. I apologize for the delay, y'all. I was having some like issues, so trying to get the settings and stuff all set back up. Sometimes it just seems like my settings and stuff just return back to default settings. And I don't know why. But anyway, I fixed it. I got it back on, y'all. So I'm back here with another live. I hope you guys are having a good day wherever it is you are and whatever respectful time zone you are in. It is a Tuesday, March 24th, and it is about 5:09 p.m. Eastern time here in the Carolinas, in the United States. And y'all, it is really pretty outside. It's really nice. So after this live, we will be going outside to enjoy some of this beautiful weather again with my son. You know, I'm gonna take him out to play. But y'all wanted to come on because y'all know I said we're gonna do these segments again where we're gonna do like the foodie thing all over again. So we did one yesterday, and a lot of people seemed to like it. And I wanted to come and do another one today. And as y'all can see, we're going to be doing uh the taste of history, how kings, wars, and discovery shaped European food. So yes, this is going to be a European dive into some history and some traditional dishes from different countries that we will be talking about on this live, y'all. So yes, it is dinner time, and I am coming to make y'all hungry yet again, right in time for dinner. So we got a few things we'll get into, and I'll go over that with y'all in just a bit. So basically, let's talk about it and have a great conversation, y'all. Have y'all ever wondered why the French sometimes seem to be obsessed with sauces, or how a British woman in Berlin invented the currywurst? Join me as we take a culinary road trip through France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and the United Kingdom. We're going to be diving into the fascinating history behind your favorite dishes, from the royal banquets of the Renaissance to the humble peasant meals that became national icons. So if y'all are hungry, maybe you can grab a snack or a meal, and let's explore the stories that may possibly be on your plate. So first, y'all, the first one I want to get into and where we'll be talking about and heading to and traveling to is France. And we will talk a lot about the art of the technique. So let's get into a little bit of the history. Originally, service and confusion, which means, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, y'all, but it means everything on the table at once. It was Catherine de' Medici, an Italian princess, who brought chefs, forks, and refined vegetables like artichokes to France in the 1500s. Later, Auguste Escoffier, and I don't think I'm saying that right, modernized the kitchen into the brigade system that we use today. So some famous dishes, we have the bœuf bourguignon, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that is a rustic peasant stew from Burgundy that used slow cooking to soften tough cuts of beef and red wine. We also have coq au vin, similar to beef stew, traditionally made with an old rooster, which is the coq, that was braised in wine to make it edible. And then we'll also get into the five mother sauces. Oh my God, Joe. I'm going to butcher these names. We have bechamel, violette, uh, aspergle, and sauce tomate, and hollandaise, the foundation of almost all French haute cuisine. So, y'all, I'm butchering the names. I know it. If you are French, Maggie, or you can pronounce these words. I am so sorry for butchering them, y'all. I don't mean any disrespect. But let's go ahead and get into this first video, okay? Because y'all know this is the foodie sector here on this part of the live, and so we love food, we love sauces, we love beef. I know I do. And so let's go ahead and get into some French delicacies and dishes that we can learn about on this live today, y'all. And I am so sorry for butchering some of the pronunciations and of the words and the recipes. Hey, we are here. So let's go ahead and play this video, watch it together. And if anybody wants to come in and join me, I'll meet y'all in the chat.
Food. It's more than sustenance. It's a story, a history, a window into a culture's soul. And few cuisines tell a story as rich and flavorful as that of France. From rustic medieval feasts to the refined elegance of haute cuisine, French cooking has evolved over centuries. It's a journey marked by innovation, tradition, and an unwavering dedication to the art of gastronomy. France's culinary journey is a fascinating exploration of flavor, technique, and cultural influence. It's a story that begins in the heart of medieval castles. Imagine grand banquets, roasting meats, earthy flavors. This was a time when food was more than just a meal. It was a symbol of power, prestige, and social standing. Over the centuries, French cuisine has undergone a remarkable transformation. It has been shaped by historical events, social changes, and the ingenuity of its chefs. From the opulence of the Renaissance to the revolutionary spirit of Nouvelle Cuisine, each era has left an indelible mark on the country's culinary identity. Join me as we take a deep dive into the history of French cuisine. We'll explore the evolution of flavors, we'll uncover the stories behind iconic dishes, and we'll discover how this cuisine continues to captivate and inspire food lovers around the world. Get ready for a delicious adventure. Step back in time to medieval France. Picture a world of towering castles, chivalrous knights, and grand banquets that fueled the social fabric of the era. These weren't just meals, they were elaborate affairs. Feasts were a spectacle of abundance, a way for the nobility to showcase their wealth and power. Imagine long wooden tables laden with platters of roasted meats, game birds, and fish. Spices, often imported from the East, added exotic aromas and flavors, a testament to the burgeoning trade routes of the time. Wine flowed freely, and entertainment, from musicians to jesters, kept the guests amused throughout the night. These medieval feasts weren't just about indulgence. They played a crucial role in society, serving as important social and political gatherings. They were an opportunity for nobles to forge alliances, discuss matters of importance, and reinforce their social hierarchy. The seating arrangements, the presentation of the food, and even the order in which dishes were served were all carefully orchestrated to reflect the social standing of each guest. Medieval French cuisine might seem rustic by today's standards, but it laid the foundation for the country's culinary heritage. It was a time of bold flavors, hearty dishes, and a deep connection between food and social customs. The extravagance of these medieval feasts may be a thing of the past, but their influence can still be felt in the French passion for good food and convivial dining experiences. Medieval French kitchens relied heavily on locally sourced ingredients. Think wild game, fresh fish, and seasonal fruits and vegetables. Grains, especially wheat and rye, were staples. Spices like pepper, saffron, and cinnamon were prized. Iconic dishes included spit-roasted pig, deer, or boar. Potages and meat pies were also popular. Desserts featured fruits, nuts, honey, and spices. These traditions laid the foundation for modern French cuisine. The Renaissance, a period of cultural rebirth that swept across Europe, brought with it a wave of change that extended to the kitchens of France. Gone were the days of heavy, spice-laden dishes of the medieval era. In their place emerged a lighter, more refined cuisine, influenced by the artistic and intellectual spirit of the time. The Renaissance marked a turning point in French culinary history. It was a time of exploration and discovery, with new ingredients and ideas arriving from distant lands. The discovery of the New World introduced a wealth of ingredients to Europe, forever changing the culinary landscape. Tomatoes, potatoes, beans, and peppers, once unknown in Europe, began to appear in French kitchens, adding new flavors and textures to traditional dishes. This era also saw a growing interest in classical Roman and Greek texts, including those on cookery. Chefs, inspired by these ancient culinary traditions, began to move away from the heavy use of spices that characterized medieval cooking. Instead, they focused on highlighting the natural flavors of fresh ingredients. The Renaissance was a period of culinary awakening in France, a time when chefs began to break away from the rigid traditions of the past and embrace new ideas and techniques. It was a time of experimentation and innovation, laying the groundwork for the development of French haute cuisine. Section 5. Exotic inspirations, new ingredients and techniques. The Renaissance wasn't just about rediscovering the past. It was also a time for embracing the new and the exotic. The age of exploration brought a flood of new ingredients to Europe from the Americas and the East, and French cuisine was quick to incorporate these culinary treasures. Imagine the excitement when tomatoes, once considered poisonous by some Europeans, began to appear in sauces and stews, adding a vibrant acidity and depth of flavor. The potato, another New World import, quickly became a staple, its versatility lending itself to countless preparations. From the East, new spices and flavorings arrived, further expanding the culinary horizons of French cooks. Vanilla, with its intoxicating aroma, found its way into desserts and beverages, while coffee and chocolate, initially consumed as beverages, slowly began to be incorporated into sweet treats. This influx of new ingredients went hand in hand with the development of new culinary techniques. Sauce making, considered an art form in its own right, became more refined, with chefs creating lighter, more flavorful sauces using butter, cream, and wine. The use of sugar also increased, leading to the creation of elaborate desserts and pastries. Section 6. The rise of culinary literature. Cookbooks and Italian influence. The Renaissance saw a surge in literacy and the advent of the printing press, leading to a proliferation of cookbooks across Europe. These culinary manuals, once the exclusive domain of professional cooks, became increasingly accessible to the home cook, democratizing culinary knowledge and further fueling the evolution of French cuisine. One of the most significant culinary influences on France during this period came from Italy. Italian chefs, renowned for their refined techniques and elegant presentation, were highly sought after by the French aristocracy. Catherine de' Medici, an Italian noblewoman who became Queen of France in 1547, is credited with bringing Italian culinary influences to the French court. Italian cooks introduced new ingredients, such as artichokes, truffles, and Parmesan cheese, to the French table. They also brought with them innovative cooking techniques, including the use of forks for eating, a practice that was not yet common in France. Italian-inspired dishes like pasta and risotto began to appear in French kitchens, albeit often adapted to French tastes. The exchange of culinary ideas between France and Italy during the Renaissance was a testament to the power of cultural exchange in shaping culinary traditions. Section 7. Haute cuisine emerges, refinement and grandeur on the plate. As France transitioned from the Renaissance to the early modern period, a new culinary movement began to take shape, haute cuisine. This sophisticated and elaborate style of cooking, characterized by its meticulous techniques, intricate presentations, and emphasis on using the finest ingredients, became synonymous with French gastronomy. Haute cuisine, meaning high cooking in French, emerged as a reflection of the opulence and grandeur of the French court. Louis XIV, the Sun King, known for his lavish lifestyle and patronage of the arts, played a significant role in elevating the status of cooking to an art form. Chefs, no longer relegated to the kitchens, became respected figures, their creations admired and celebrated. They experimented with new techniques, created elaborate presentations that resembled works of art, and codified culinary principles that would form the foundation of classical French cuisine. Haute cuisine was more than just about food, it was about creating a dining experience that engaged all the senses. Meals were multi-course affairs, with each dish carefully crafted to showcase the chef's skill and creativity. The presentation of food became as important as the taste, with chefs arranging dishes with architectural precision. Section 8. Culinary Titans, Carême, Escoffier, and the Art of French Cooking. The 18th and 19th centuries witnessed the rise of culinary titans who would forever shape the landscape of French cuisine. Marie-Antoine Carême and Georges-Auguste Escoffier, considered the founding fathers of modern French cooking, codified culinary techniques, established culinary schools, and elevated the profession of chef to new heights. Carême, a visionary chef and architect, is often credited with refining and systematizing French haute cuisine. He believed in the importance of using fresh, seasonal ingredients and developing sauces that complemented rather than masked the flavors of the main ingredients. He's also known for his elaborate pieces montés, towering culinary sculptures that were as much works of art as they were edible creations. Escoffier, building on Carême's legacy, further refined and simplified French cuisine. He is best known for his book, Le Guide Culinaire, a comprehensive guide to French cooking that is still used by chefs today. Escoffier also streamlined the organization of professional kitchens, introducing the Brigade de Cuisine system, a hierarchical structure that divides kitchen tasks into specialized roles. These culinary giants not only transformed French cuisine, but also exerted a profound influence on culinary practices worldwide. Their emphasis on precision, technique, and the use of fresh, high-quality ingredients continues to inspire chefs today. Section 9. Schools of Gastronomy. Codifying techniques, preserving tradition. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed the establishment of formal culinary schools in France, solidifying the country's reputation as the epicenter of culinary education. These institutions played a crucial role in codifying traditional French cooking techniques, preserving culinary heritage, and training generations of chefs who would go on to spread French gastronomy throughout the world. Le Cordon Bleu, founded in Paris in 1895, became one of the most prestigious culinary schools in the world, attracting aspiring chefs from all corners of the globe. The school's rigorous curriculum, emphasizing classical French techniques and the use of the finest ingredients, set the standard for culinary education. These culinary schools played a vital role in standardizing French cuisine, ensuring that traditional techniques and recipes were preserved and passed down to future generations. They also fostered a sense of community among chefs, creating a network of culinary professionals who shared a passion for French gastronomy. Section 10. Modern evolution, from Nouvelle Cuisine to contemporary trends. While French cuisine is deeply rooted in tradition, it has never been static. The latter half of the 20th century saw a culinary revolution with the emergence of Nouvelle Cuisine, a movement that challenged the established norms of classical French cooking. Nouvelle Cuisine, meaning new cooking, emerged in the 1960s as a reaction against the heavy, sauce-laden dishes of traditional haute cuisine. Led by chefs like Paul Bocuse, Michel Guérard, and the Trois Gros brothers, this new style of cooking emphasized lightness, freshness, and simplicity. Gone were the heavy sauces and elaborate presentations. In their place were dishes that celebrated the natural flavors of fresh, seasonal ingredients. Nouvelle Cuisine chefs embraced lighter cooking methods such as steaming and grilling, and they weren't afraid to experiment with new ingredients and flavor combinations. This culinary movement was about more than just changing the food on the plate. It was about challenging the very definition of French cuisine. It was a rejection of the rigidity of the past and an embrace of innovation and creativity.
All right, y'all. So that was cool. We took a little deep dive into France, right? With some French food. Y'all let me know. What type of different, foods do y'all like? Like, have y'all had French food before? Have y'all been to France? You know, I love all different types of cuisine, and I like to try new and different things. So that's why I was like, I think this would be really fun and interesting. But yes, Imani, what's up, girl? Hey, Polo. Hey, Star. And Mama's here too. So yeah, I butchered it. I'm so sorry. I butchered those words. I got to learn the pronunciation. Child, I wish Maggie was here to help because she speaks French, and I love hearing her like when she be speaking French. So she probably, she'll teach me the right pronunciation of those words, but I'll butcher them, y'all. But I do want to take up another language. But yeah, have y'all outside of French fries, which is not really French, which I found that out as well. Have y'all ever had any French foods or recipes or anything like that? Or been to any French restaurants? Oh, you did 3 years of French in high school, Polo? That's dope. That's dope. So you probably could pronounce the words better than me. But yeah, so now y'all, let's go ahead and get into our second one. So now we're going to move right along to Spain, and we'll be talking about the Mediterranean melting pot. So let's get into the history. Spanish food is a story of two major influences. Okay, so we have the Moors, who brought rice, saffron, and almonds from North America, and the discovery of the Americas, which brought New World staples like tomatoes, potatoes, and peppers. So some famous dishes, oh God, here we go with the pronunciation, will be paella valenciana, originally a lunch for farmers in Valencia, cooked over an open fire with whatever was available, whether it be rabbit, snails, beans. The saffron gives that iconic yellow color. We also have tortilla española, a simple 19th century invention. Legends say it was created by a general to feed his hungry troops cheaply using just eggs, potatoes, and onions. And then we have jamon iberico, cured ham from acorn-fed pigs. The practice of salting meats and dates back to the Phoenicians of 1100 BC. I don't even think I said that right. But we're going to go ahead and travel on over to Spain. And of course, I have some recipes, some history video to show y'all for that as well. So let's go ahead and get into it and watch this together, y'all. Give me just a second to get everything set up. But yeah, please forgive me for butchering these words. I am trying my best, y'all. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So in this video here, y'all will be seeing a guide to Spain's famous snack culture. So if anybody likes to snack out there, these are some dishes and some foods that I guess they would consider to be more so on the snack side, opposed to the meal side. Things that are pretty light, fresh, and quick and easy to fix and prepare. So I wanted to go ahead and share a little bit of that with y'all. So let's get this up here, and we'll get into it together. I'm gonna meet y'all over in the chat. And are y'all hungry yet? All right, here we go.
Spain without tapas? Simply inconceivable. These little appetizers are found in seemingly endless varieties across Spain. But what do you need to know about Spanish tapas? Here's a look.
Hola, soy Belén Cortés. Os voy a enseñar mis 3 tapas favoritas y cómo las comemos los españoles.
First up, gambas al ajillo, or shrimp in garlic oil. This consists of shrimp, garlic, olive oil, salt, cayenne pepper, and coriander. Briefly stir-fry the shrimp with the garlic.
Unas buenas gambas al ajillo, lo principal es que dejarlas medio crudas y que se hagan con el fuego de la cazuela. Y ellas solas van hirviendo y quedan espectaculares.
And where in Spain do people eat tapas?
Los lugares donde se comen tapas son lugares con mucho ruido. Principalmente son sitios informales que la gente viene a hablar y suele estar de pie. Es lo tradicional de las tabernas típicas de Madrid.
This tradition is in most of Madrid. The El Ciano Rey de los Vinos tavern dates back to 1909. It offers more than 50 kinds of tapas. Tapier in Spanish means go to eat tapas. It has a long history in Spain.
Bueno, el origen de la tapa tiene muchas versiones, pero se decía que la gente cuando venía a tomar el chatito de vino para que no se le llenara de moscas, se ponía la tapa que se le iba a ofrecer encima. Y así él podía estar en tertulia hablando y mantener la bebida intacta.
Next up, regalito de chorito. For this you'll need little chunks of oxtail, bell pepper, oil, red wine, an onion, bay leaves, dough, salt, meat stock, cranberry sauce, sesame seeds, and flour. You coat the chunks of oxtail in flour and fry them. And don't forget the carrots. Add them to the meat stock with the onion and red wine.
Lo más importante es cocinar la carne a fuego lento durante 4 horas para que la carne vaya perdiendo su jugo, se vaya impregnando y vaya haciéndose y quede una carne jugosa.
The cranberry sauce is mixed in with the meat drippings to make the sauce. You cut the meat into thin slices and wrap it in sheets of phyllo or flaky pastry dough. Then you deep fry that and garnish it with a slice of bell pepper.
Esto tiene su significado, este plato. El rabo de toro va envuelto en la pasta filo, que es el toro. Lo rojo es la muleta del torero, que es la capa, lo que se conoce con la capa. Y esta es la banderilla, con que se remata al toro.
The vast selection of tapas available in Spain raises the question about what drink goes best with them.
Las tapas se acompañan principalmente en nuestra casa o bien por la caña, que tiene que estar fría, o nuestro vermú de barril, ¿vale? Que sale directamente de la barrica, y luego el vinito, que puede ser blanco, tinto, rosado, cualquiera de sus gamas está muy bien para tapear.
We wind up with a classic, huevos rotos, or broken eggs. For this one, you need ham, potatoes, eggs, fried peppers, oil, and salt.
El secreto de los huevos rotos es la patata. Principalmente la patata tiene que ser cocida para que cuando el huevo rompa se impregne en la patata y se queda una patata súper jugosa.
Huevos rotos are one of the most popular tapas in Spain. Eggs and potatoes are the basis, but other ingredients like fried peppers can offer variety. Belén Cortez's bar serves its tapas with serrano ham.
Y muy importante el pimiento de padrón, que es típico de España también, y se dice que unos pican y otros no.
Depending on where in Spain you are, the tapas may be served free of charge or not. In Madrid, you generally get a simple tapa with a drink, but you can't select it yourself. You have to pay for whatever tapas you order, and that may take a bit more preparation.
No podría imaginarme mi vida sin tapas, sin tabernas, sin ir de un sitio a otro. En uno típico el vermú, en otro es típico la caña, en otro típico el vino. Es ideal.
All right, y'all. So that was just a quick video and some, quick dishes that we seen here actually from Spain. And so now we're going to be moving right along to one of my personal favorites. And, child, just a little background. Part of my bloodline as well. Because my father is mixed with Italian. And so I really love Italian food, okay? It's like I said, it's in my blood a little bit. I don't know if that's why I like it so much or if it just tastes really good. So now we're going to be moving on to Italy, okay? And we'll be talking about regional pride and simplicity. So the history. Italy wasn't a unified country until about 1861. So the food is fiercely regional. The north, which is the richer area, uses butter and rice or risotto, while the south, the coastal sun-drenched, uses a lot of olive oil, tomatoes, and dried pasta. The Arabs introduced citrus and durum wheat for pasta to Sicily in the 9th century. Some famous dishes that y'all may know or not know is a pizza margherita, created in 1889 in Naples to honor Queen Margherita. The ingredients, which are tomato, mozzarella, and basil, represent the Italian flag, red, white, and green. They also have carbonara, a relatively new classic. Some believe it was created for American GOS in World War II who had rations of eggs and bacon. And then, y'all, another one of my favorites and my mama's favorite, and I'm telling you, she cooks a mean lasagna, one of the oldest pasta dishes with roots going back to ancient Rome, though back then it was fried dough. So let's go ahead. And I do have 2 short videos to show y'all when it comes to this, because like I said, Italian food is one of my favorite foods, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the first video. And this will be the real history of Italian food. So let me go ahead and get this one set up for y'all. We'll listen to this. And this is a short one. After this, we'll take a quick song break and we'll listen to the second one that I have prepared as well, which will be the evolution of Italian. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. It's about 5 minutes. Let's watch this together and I'll meet y'all in the chat.
Food and history lovers, today we're diving fork first into the delectable world of Italian cuisine. Ever wondered how that heavenly pasta carbonara ended up on your plate, or how pizza became a global sensation? First things first, subscribe and let's rewind the culinary clock. Picture this. Bustling markets filled with the aroma of freshly baked bread, olives galore, and a feast fit for emperors. The Romans may not have had Instagram, but they sure knew how to create a spread that would have broken the internet. Can you imagine Caesar posting a feast goal selfie? Well, maybe not, but they sure laid the groundwork for the incredible antipasto platters we indulge in today. And let's not forget about those Roman banquets. Lavish affairs with more courses than a Netflix series. They valued variety, and their love for diverse flavors became the cornerstone of Italian cuisine. Fast forward through the centuries, and you'll see Italy's culinary landscape evolving like a fine wine aging in oak barrels. The Byzantine influence, trade routes opening up. It was like the ultimate fusion of flavors happening right in the heart of the Mediterranean. So when you're savoring that antipasto platter or enjoying the perfect blend of Italian herbs, just remember, you're tasting centuries of culinary craftsmanship. The Italian culinary odyssey began in ancient Rome, and it's been a flavor-packed adventure ever since. Now that we've uncovered the tantalizing beginnings of Italian cuisine, let's zoom in on the true heartthrob of the Mediterranean culinary scene, pasta. You might have heard tales of Marco Polo bringing back noodles from China, but the truth is, Italians were already noodle aficionados. Sorry, Marco, the pasta party was already in full swing before you joined. The concept of pasta dates back to ancient Rome, where they crafted their version of lasagna and perfected the art of boiling dough into different shapes. Fast forward to the medieval times, and pasta had become a staple. But here's the fun part. The variety of shapes wasn't just for aesthetics. It was a clever way to pair each pasta type with the perfect sauce, creating a symphony of flavors in every bite. Who knew choosing between penne and spaghetti was like picking the right dance partner for your taste buds? And speaking of twirls, let's talk about the Italian art of twirling spaghetti. Forget what you've seen in Lady and the Tramp. There's an actual technique to it. Italians have mastered the art of the perfect twirl, ensuring that every strand is coated in luscious sauce. So, the next time you're slurping up those noodles, remember, you're not just eating a meal. You're part of a pasta passion that has been embraced for centuries. We've explored the ancient roots of Italian cuisine and delved into the pasta paradise. But now let's talk about a dish that has conquered the world. The one, the only pizza. Picture this, Naples, 1889. The birthplace of the modern pizza, and no, it wasn't delivered by a guy on a scooter. It was crafted in honor of Queen Margherita of Italy, featuring the colors of the Italian flag, tomato, mozzarella, and basil. If only she knew her royal endorsement would make pizza the global sensation it is today. But the pizza story doesn't stop there. Naples became the epicenter of pizza mania, with pizzerias popping up like mushrooms. Or should I say like pepperonis on a margarita? And let's not forget about the New York-style pizza, the Chicago deep dish, and the quirky toppings that have sparked heated debates. Pineapple, anyone? It's like a pizza revolution that keeps evolving. Pizza has become a universal language, transcending borders and uniting taste buds. So, the next time you devour a slice, remember you're part of a worldwide pizza party that started in the heart of Naples. Now it's time to cap off our Italian feast with a jolt of energy, espresso elegance. In the charming streets of Milan, the birthplace of espresso, a coffee culture unlike any other was brewing. Italians take their coffee seriously, and nothing epitomizes that dedication more than the iconic espresso shot. Ah, the symphony of hissing steam, the aromatic dance of freshly ground beans. It's like a caffeinated ballet. Espresso wasn't just a coffee choice. It became a way of life. Short, strong, and unapologetically bold. That's the Italian way. And let's not forget the charming tradition of standing at the counter, sipping your espresso with a sense of purpose. It's like a shot of motivation in a tiny cup, preparing you for the bustling day ahead. But wait, there's more to this coffee tale. Italy gave us not just espresso, but also iconic coffee drinks like cappuccino and macchiato. Each cup tells a story of craftsmanship and dedication to the art of coffee making. From the traditional espresso to the frothy delights, Italian coffee is a celebration in every sip. So whether you're a seasoned coffee connoisseur or just starting your espresso journey, remember, the elegance of Italian coffee is timeless. And there you have it, food and history lovers. The rich, flavorful history of Italian cuisine, from ancient times to the pizza parlors on every street corner. I hope you enjoyed this tasty trip down memory lane. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more foodie adventures, and share your favorite Italian dish in the comments below.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the next video. And this one is going to be the evolution of Italian cuisine. Okay. And so let's talk a little bit more about that. They're going to be going from Roman feasts to modern pizzerias. Okay. All kinds of tasty, delectable foods that we all probably have tasted a time or two. And so let's go ahead and get into this video. I thought that was pretty exciting or interesting. You know, history, information, interesting, especially when it comes to the background of a lot of our favorite foods that we eat and we think, you know, are amazing and taste great and bring us happiness and pleasure. Because, y'all, food be making me happy. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick, y'all. And I will meet y'all in the chat.
Ever wonder how Italy, the land of pizza and pasta, became a culinary giant. What if I told you that the origins of your favorite Italian dishes can be traced back over 2,000 years to the extravagant feasts of ancient Rome? Today, we're diving into the rich history of Italian cuisine, from the banquets of emperors to the modern pizzerias on every corner. Italian cuisine is loved worldwide for its flavors, simplicity, and tradition. But it's more than just pizza and pasta. Italian food is a reflection of its long history, a tapestry of influences from ancient Rome, the Middle Ages, and even the Renaissance, all the way to today's vibrant food culture. In today's video, we'll trace the evolution of Italian cuisine, starting with the Roman feasts, exploring how Italy's regional diversity shaped its food, and discovering how it all led to the global phenomenon that is modern Italian cuisine. To understand where Italian cuisine began, we need to step back to the days of ancient Rome. The Romans were masters of feasting and indulged in lavish banquets that were as much about status as they were about food. The typical Roman diet was heavily influenced by the Mediterranean environment. Bread, olives, cheese, fruits, and vegetables were staples, but it was the wealthier citizens who indulged in extravagant feasts that included exotic ingredients like peacock, flamingo, and wild boar. Romans used spices and sauces like garum, a fermented fish sauce similar to modern soy sauce, to season their food. While it might sound strange to us today, garum was a prized condiment that added a deep umami flavor to Roman dishes. Roman feasts also included plenty of wine, but it wasn't consumed the way we drink it today. Romans diluted their wine with water and flavored it with herbs and spices. But Roman feasts were about more than just food. They were social events where politics, entertainment, and status played a huge role. The more elaborate the feast, the more powerful the host was perceived to be. These banquets set the foundation for Italian culinary traditions focused on communal dining and celebration. As Rome fell and Italy entered the Middle Ages, its cuisine evolved with the times. New ingredients arrived, and regional diversity began to flourish, leading to the rich variety we associate with Italian cuisine today. During the Middle Ages, Italy was divided into city-states, each with its own culinary traditions. In the north, butter and dairy became more prominent, while the south maintained its Mediterranean roots with olive oil and seafood. The development of pasta, like lasagna and ravioli, emerged during this period, although it wasn't yet the staple it is today. The influence of foreign trade also played a key role. Spices from the East, grains from Africa, and ingredients from the New World, such as tomatoes and corn, began to shape Italian dishes, though it would take centuries for these foods to become staples. The Renaissance was a golden age for Italian cuisine. As Italian courts vied for power, they hosted grand feasts that showcased the finest ingredients and culinary innovation. This period saw the rise of elaborate dishes, many of which would become part of Italy's gastronomic heritage. Dishes like risotto and polenta became popular. And this period also saw the birth of regional specialties like Parmesan cheese from Parma and balsamic vinegar from Modena, both of which continue to be iconic in Italian cooking. By the 19th century, Italian food was transforming once again. In Naples, a humble dish made from flatbread, tomatoes, and cheese became the foundation of what we now know as pizza. Initially seen as food for the poor, pizza gained popularity and, over time, became a symbol of Italian culture. The creation of the Margherita pizza in honor of Queen Margherita in 1889, with its red, white, and green ingredients representing the Italian flag, solidified pizza's place in the country's culinary identity. As Italians migrated around the world, particularly to the United States, they brought their food traditions with them. By the early 20th century, Italian-American cuisine had developed, featuring now iconic dishes like spaghetti with meatballs and New York-style pizza. Today, Italian cuisine is one of the most popular and celebrated cuisines globally, but its roots, whether in the lavish feasts of ancient Rome or the humble pizzerias of Naples, are still evident in the food we love today. Perhaps no dish encapsulates the evolution of Italian cuisine quite like pizza. From its humble beginnings as street food for the poor to its rise as a global culinary icon, pizza represents the heart of Italian cuisine, simple, flavorful, and designed to bring people together. And in a way, pizza's journey reflects Italy's own history, a blend of ancient traditions, regional diversity, and the ability to adapt to new influences while staying true to its roots. Italian cuisine has come a long way from the extravagant feasts of emperors to the simple yet delicious dishes served in pizzerias today. But through it all, one thing has remained the same: Italy's passion for food, community, and tradition. Whether it's a lavish banquet or a casual pizza night, Italian food is a celebration of life, and its evolution tells the story of a country deeply rooted in history, yet always moving forward. Thanks for joining me on this delicious journey through the history of Italian cuisine. If you're craving more videos about the evolution of food, culture, and history, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a bite.
All right, y'all. So that was a little video there. The second one that I wanted to play for y'all when it comes to the Italian food and Italian background. Some of my favorites, y'all know, like spaghetti, lasagna, pastas, pizzas. Some of our favorites, I believe. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick song break. After the song break, we're going to move right along to Germany. And then once we get to Germany, we'll be talking about the hearty traditions and some post-war rebirth when it comes to history. Let me go ahead and play a little bit of lo-fi beat for y'all just for a little quick song break while I use the restroom. And we'll be right back. We'll get into the next video. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry if I'm making y'all hungry, but hopefully we all had something good to eat after this live, y'all. We can chop it up. But we'll be right back. Let me go ahead and get into the music. All right, y'all. So I'm back. Yeah, a little bit of chill music, Tanika. I love that type of music, like lo-fi, jazz, a little smooth vibe. You just listen to it in the background while you're cleaning, while you're cooking, whatever it is you're doing. Real smooth. Like, but you said you definitely making your burgers homemade. You might do them stuff. Sounds good. You say you usually like smash burgers. Smash burgers are really good. Smash burgers are really, really good. But yeah, nice little stuffed burger. That sounds good too. What do you like to stuff it with? Like mozzarella cheese or provolone cheese, or what do you stuff your burgers with? But the next video that I got lined up for y'all. We moving over to Germany, y'all. So we're gonna hear a little bit of history behind German food, and see a few recipes and signature traditional dishes from Germany as well. So let's go ahead and get into that video, y'all, and I'm gonna meet y'all over in the chat.
You've been lied to about German food. It's not just sausages and beer. It's a survival story, told in bread crusts, pickled cabbage, and pan-fried cutlets. Let's start in the Middle Ages. Most people lived on grain. Bread was the backbone, rye in the north wheat where you could afford it. Soups and stews simmered all day. Cabbage, beans, root veg, whatever the season allowed. Meat? Rare unless it was preserved. Salt and smoke were currency. Enter sauerkraut. It's not a gimmick, it's technology. Fermenting cabbage locked in vitamin C and kept people alive through brutal winters. That sour tang, it's the flavor of survival. By the late medieval period, monasteries shaped food culture. They brewed beer, liquid bread, with purity rules that would later become the Reinheitsgebot. They baked pretzels too, simple dough, alkaline bath, deep shine. Legend says they were rewards for children who learned their prayers, the twist mirrors, folded arms. Whether or not that's true, pretzels became edible symbols of devotion and community. Geography split the table. The north leaned on the sea, pickled fish and rye. The south, richer in dairy and pasture, leaned into dumplings, butter, and eventually pork. Forests gave mushrooms and game. Rivers brought carp. Regionality wasn't branding, it was necessity. Then came trade. Spices trickled in potatoes, thundered in from the Americas. At first, people were suspicious. Then famine hit and potatoes took root. Suddenly you get potato dumplings, potato pancakes, and that hearty backbone of meat and two-veg Germany is known for. War reshaped kitchens. The 30 Years' War emptied pantries. Thrift and preservation became habits. In the 19th century, industrialization pulled people into cities. Street foods rose, sausages in rolls, mustard on the side, quick, cheap filling. Meanwhile, Vienna's influence crossed borders. Schnitzel, breaded, pan-fried, golden, arrived and adapted. Today, pork schnitzel is the weeknight hero of many German homes. Sauerkraut stuck around, but now as pride, not desperation. Pretzels left monasteries and landed in beer gardens, social hubs where food was simple, generous, and affordable. The Reinheitsgebot turned from a practical rule into a national calling card for beer purity. The 20th century brought scarcity, then abundance. After the wars, immigrant communities expanded the pantry. Turkish doner kebab is now a German icon, sitting comfortably next to bratwurst. Vegan and regional revivals are pulling old peasant recipes, spelt breads, einkorn, fermented veg, back into the spotlight, but with finesse. Here's the myth bust. German cuisine isn't static. It's resilient. It keeps what works, bread, pickling, pan frying, and upgrades the rest. So next time you bite a pretzel, sip a clean lager, or crack through a schnitzel crust, know this: you're not eating cliches. You're eating centuries of adaptation, geography, and grit, served hot. Map complete. Now, what's on your plate?
All right, y'all. So that was just like a little quick video there. The first one that I was gonna play for y'all when it comes to German foods, right? some things that, oh my goodness, I did not know was derived as a German food or from Germany. Like when it comes to pretzels, I didn't know that pretzels derived from Germany. It was like majorly like a German food. But I love me a good pretzel. I got some pretzels in there right now. My favorite kind of pretzel that I get for a snack is like the sourdough pretzel, you know, like the really thick ones. Me and mama love those. Like we'll crunch them down. But I also like the soft pretzels too. I'll put some mustard on there, or I might dip it in some nacho cheese. Or I love me a good pretzel. And we had this store up in New Jersey. It's called Wawa, but it's kind of like it's like a gas station and convenience store combined. But in their store, like they had like the best foods and stuff. You know what I mean? Like they had snacks, and then they make like hoagies and cheesesteaks, pizza, all that kind of stuff. So they got like a whole deli in there. And so their food in there is really good, but they always will have pretzel. Their pretzels is the best. They got regular pretzel you can get. Oh, Tanika, you know about it, girl? Yes, Wawa. And so guess what? So I was so excited because when we moved down here from Jersey, they didn't have a Wawa here. They didn't even have a 7-Eleven, girl. They didn't have none of those things. And then like in the past like 4 or 5 years, like since the pandemic, they had opened up a 7-Eleven, and now we got a Wawa. We got one. And I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, we got a Wawa, child. And yes, I have ordered some things there since they've been here. And I gotta say, you know, there's some things where it's just like, you know, it don't matter where it's at or what location it's in, it's gonna taste the same, it's gonna hit the same. But then it's some things where it's like, I think it is like based off a location. Because I feel like in some places you can have like the same restaurant or like the same place in two different locations, whether like way up north or way down south. It's just depending like who's working there, who's making the stuff and preparing the stuff, and may be different. But anyway, when it comes to the pretzel, you know, because a lot of the time they come pre-prepared anyway. So their pretzels is good. So they got the regular pretzels, you know, you can get the soft pretzel. You just slide some mustard up on there, you good to go. Then they have the stuffed pretzel. They stuff them with the jalapeno cheese. They stuff it with the sweet cream cheese. And I think it's another one. I think it's just regular nacho or cheddar cheese or something like that. The stuffed pretzels at Wawa. But yo, those pretzels be busting. And then of course, you know, when you get your groceries and stuff, we just be getting us a bag of pretzels, you know, from the store. Sometimes the thin pretzels, sometimes the sourdough thick pretzels, sometimes the nugget, sometimes the stick. You know, like all different type of pretzels. But I love me a good pretzel now. Okay, you say you stay in the DMV. Okay. But yeah, different taste. You know what I mean? And yeah, as far as the sauerkraut, girl, I can't do the sauerkraut like that. I know it comes, like, I think on like the Chicago dog, like you get like a Chicago dog. And I used to be like, when we used to be in Philly and stuff like that, you know, the street vendors and stuff, they have their stands and stuff where they have different hot dogs. And so they have different type of dogs. And even if you go to like Sonic has different style and types of dogs. And so I think like the Chicago dog is the one that come with the sauerkraut on it. But I can't get down with sauerkraut. So I don't really like it. It's definitely a different taste. Like it's real tangy, you know what I mean? But I heard though, honestly, that sauerkraut is actually very healthy for you. Like that's what I heard. And that's great and all, but it ain't my cup of tea, y'all. I don't want no sauerkraut on my hot dog. Y'all can hold the kraut. That's what you say. Like you can say what kind of hot dog you want. You be like, just hold the kraut on that for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want no sauerkraut on mine. But if anybody likes it, that's cool. That's cool. Sauerkraut ain't my thing, y'all. But let's go ahead and get into this second video. And again, this is also another video derived around German food. So this is 5 classic German foods that they saying we should try if we have not had it already. Child, let's look into it and see what these recipes and what these dishes are, because maybe they're really good. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get into this video. She's talking about I'll stick with the cabbage. Yeah, I stick with the cabbage, child, with a little bit of sugar, the seasonings up in there, you know, a little bit of ham hock, a little bit of bacon, a little bit of pork up in the cabbage, a little neck bone, something like that. I'll eat my cabbage in that type of style. You know what I'm saying? Like the sauerkraut version with all that vinegar and stuff. Nah. I'm gonna need my cabbage southern style. You know what I mean? Little what else they be putting in there? I like mine with neck bones. That's how my grandma used to always cook. She used to make her cabbage with the neck bone. But you know, they could put what's that one called? It's salty. So that's what gives it most of the flavor. It's like what is it? Child, my mama would know, but she sleep. But y'all know what I'm talking about. It's different meats you can put in there. You put neck bones up in there, ham hock up in there. You know, you can put bacon. It's a ham. It's like a ham, like salted ham. I think you just put like salted ham up in the cabbage sometimes too. And child, that be busting. For real, for real. I love me a good old cabbage now, but I can't get down with the sauerkraut. But anyway, so let's go ahead now and see what these 5 classic German foods that we must give a try are. I'm really interested to see some of them we may know and some of them we may not. So let's get into that, y'all, and I'm gonna meet y'all over in the chat.
German cuisine is considered meat-heavy, but the cliché is only partly true. We'll show you 5 typical specialties for Germany, from hearty to vegetarian to sweet. Bet you wouldn't have guessed that one of them is actually a German invention. Let's start with a classic, the Schweinshaxe. This knuckle of pork probably corresponds to the image that many people have of German food, served with a side of Bavarian folk music, like here in Munich's Hofbräuhaus. Wolfgang Reitmeier uses basic ingredients when preparing this typical Bavarian specialty, but he's very particular about the origin and quality of the meat.
Wichtig für die Zutaten ist Regionalität. Das ist einfach das nachvollziehbar ist, wo kommt das Ganze her.
And this is how the knuckles are prepared. The front leg of the pork is seasoned with garlic, salt, pepper, and a mixture of caraway seeds. After resting for an hour, the meat goes into the oven for 30 minutes at 160 degrees Celsius to begin with. Then it's basted with dark beer and put back in. After 2 hours, the pork knuckle is basted 2 more times with black beer and grilled at a high temperature until a perfect, slightly caramelized crust is formed. The Schweinshaxe is traditionally served with a potato dumpling and gravy. When boiled, the pork knuckle is known as Eisbein, a dish more popular in northern Germany, where it's usually eaten with sauerkraut and potatoes. Either way, the pork knuckle is an absolute staple of German cuisine. Time now for something vegetarian. This vegetable is the headliner on many German menus in springtime, asparagus. The season lasts about 3 months, and during this time, Germans eat an average of around 1.4 kilograms of asparagus per person. Asparagus has been grown in the region around Belitz, south of Berlin, since the middle of the 19th century. The soft, sandy soil here is ideal.
In diesem Sand wächst der Spargel möglichst gerade und hat keinen Widerstand. Und weil er auch ein leichtes, der Boden erwärmt sich gut und dadurch kriegt der Spargel auch hier sein einzigartiges Aroma.
Around 10% is green asparagus, which grows above ground, and 90% is white and grows underground. As soon as the tips begin to peek out of the soil, the white asparagus is harvested, mostly by hand. Because of the complicated harvesting process, it was seen as the luxury in the past, which only the wealthy could afford. That's why it was also known as the royal vegetable, or white gold. In Germany, it's served with hollandaise sauce and potatoes. Some have it with a schnitzel, but the absolute spring classic is a vegetarian dish. Asparagus served with breadcrumbs browned in butter. Our next stop, the bakery. This is a specialty that is associated with Germany all over the world, the pretzel. Especially in southern Germany, life without pretzels is unthinkable. A distinction is made between the Bavarian and Swabian varieties. The dough consists of wheat flour, water, yeast, and a mixture of salt, malt, and either margarine, butter, or lard. The dough is divided, rolled out, and then skillfully twisted into shape. This takes a lot of practice.
Es ist einmal so, dann so und so. Total simpel. Das ist ja eigentlich auch das, was die Leute am meisten fasziniert. Das Schlingen.
After the pretzels have risen, they're coated with diluted baking soda. Symmetrical and deep golden brown. This is what a Bavarian pretzel should look like. The Swabian version differs mainly in its shape. It's all about the so-called belly and the thin arms.
Das Wichtige ist an der schwäbischen Brezel die dünnen Ärmchen, die nachher groß werden und der Bauch, der dann schön locker ist und dann auch dann weich ist.
Regardless of your preferred shape, the pretzel is undeniably the flagship of German baking. Could the same be said about our next German specialty? You really have to like eating fish to find out. The fish rolls are particularly popular in northern Germany in every possible variation.
Natürlich ein Lachsbrötchen.
Ein Backfisch, also was Paniertes.
Krabbenbrötchen. Bin schon ganz gespannt, wie das schmeckt.
You'll mainly find the beloved snack by the coast at little stands like this one in the port of Hamburg, always with fresh fish and usually topped with some onions. The king, or should we say chancellor of fish rolls, is the one with Bismarck herring. Herring fillets are marinated in vinegar and salt and mixed with mustard seeds, onions, bay leaves, and allspice. The herring is then left to marinate in the spicy broth for a week. It's named after the German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, who ruled at the end of the 19th century. According to legend, a local merchant sent him a barrel of the pickled herring and got permission to name it after him. Today, the Bismarck roll is the classic fish roll, a street food that is a must-try for any visitor to northern Germany. Moving on to dessert. The typically German spaghetti ice cream. Typically German? It sure is. The noodle-shaped ice cream with strawberry sauce and white chocolate sprinkles was created here in Mannheim in southwest Germany. Dario Fontanella, the son of Italian immigrants, came up with this unusual creation in his father's ice cream parlor. It first appeared on the menu in 1969, inspired by a dessert he had eaten on vacation.
Neugierig bin ich an der Theke gegangen, habe der Frau gefragt, habe gesagt, sagen Sie mal, können Sie mir erklären, wie Sie diese Schnürchen da rausgemacht haben? Und dann hat sie gesagt, das ist ganz einfach. Ich habe Kastanienpüree genommen und das habe ich durch eine Kartoffelpresse gejagt, ja? Und da habe ich gedacht, das ist aber genial.
For spaghetti ice cream a la Fontanella, you need milk, cream, thickener, egg yolk powder, and sugar, plus some vanilla extract and lemon. The ice cream mixture is made at -8 degrees Celsius. To make the red sauce, strawberries are pureed. Then you're good to go. The vanilla ice cream spaghetti is placed on a portion of cream with a strawberry puree acting as the tomato sauce and white chocolate sprinkles as Parmesan. This is definitely the sweetest spaghetti dish you'll ever try. What are some of the typical specialties in your home country?
All right, y'all. So that was a dope video, I think. As far as different foods and stuff that we have over in Germany. So they talked about, like we were saying, when it comes to the krauts, we were talking about the krauts. Some people like sauerkraut, some people don't like sauerkraut. It seemed like a lot of us love the pretzels. So we're going to eat the pretzels, y'all. And there's many more foods as well. These are just some surface level ones. To do this segment because I think it's fun. And so, like, on the additional segments that I start to do, we'll get a little bit deeper into certain different recipes. But yeah, like with the fish roll, Tanika, I ain't never had no fish roll either. But hey, like I'll try things. I'll try most things when it comes to food, honestly, unless it's not too far out there. Like I'll try asparagus. Asparagus is one of my favorite. When I get my asparagus, I get the kind that's in the bag, the steamable ones that they have now in the bag. So I'll get that. I'll steam it up, put it in the microwave, let it steam. Then I'll put it in the pan, on the oven. I'm sorry, on the burner. I'll put it in the pan. I add some butter up in there. I chop up fresh garlic. I put it up in there. I make bacon, like real bacon, not bacon bits that's in the seasoning jar, but real bacon. And I chop up the real bacon and make those bits, and then add a little bit of that bacon grease in there too, and then spin that all around. And then at the end, when I plate it up, I'll sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. So yeah, that's how I'll be docking my asparagus up, girl. But y'all ain't never had the white asparagus. I only had the green asparagus. And they were saying in the video, let me stop. They were saying in the video, y'all, that the green asparagus and the white asparagus is different based off of, sometimes maybe more of the wealthy people had the white asparagus. So I don't know. I can't be sure. I ain't never had no white asparagus, but I will eat the green asparagus, and they're really good. I love green vegetables. And then yeah, like I said, no, have not had a fish roll, but I'll try it though. Certain things I will try. Have you tried oysters? I'm nervous. Yeah, girl. I've had oysters. I like oysters. I like clams. I like what's the other one? Mussels. Yeah. All of those little shell seafoods. I've tried all of them. I've had all of them. They're pretty good, And then it depends like how you make them and stuff. So one of the best ways to do is to steam them. You steam them. And you can put whatever seasonings or whatnot that you like. You can season to taste. And then one of my favorite things is I like put a little hot sauce up on there. We gotta have our hot sauce on there, y'all. She said say no to white asparagus. You like it. Mussels are good. Mussels are really good. Mussels, clams, and what is it? Mussels, clams, and oysters. Yeah. Yep. And they say that oysters is supposed to be like a what they call it? They say it's supposed to be a what's the word I'm looking for? Child, cannot be finding my words sometimes. They say it's supposed to be like an aphrodisiac. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be sure because I'm greedy. So aphrodisiac, mama came to tell me an aphrodisiac. But I can't be sure because when I be eating stuff, child, I'm just eating it because I'm greedy and I'm hungry. So I don't know. It may do a little something. I can't be sure. But I eat it because it tastes good and I want to eat. So yeah, I love seafood. Seafood is one of my favorites. So with this segment that I want to start doing on the channel, Tanika said, hey, Ma. She back there with JG. But she can see it. She can see a comment because she on her phone back in the room. But yeah, so when it comes to like this segment with the food and stuff, it's so many fun things I'm gonna do, right, y'all? So we'll do different sectors of this where we can do seafood and stuff, I want to do one that's kind of like also I'm gonna title it like taboo foods and stuff. Because y'all know it be some really, really weird foods and things that people be eating, like across the world. And it's sometimes it'll blow your mind, like the things that certain people eat. And I also like not just the fact that it may give us an idea of something we can try, but I also like to watch the preparation too. Like the preparation of some of these said foods and dishes is really interesting to me as well. And so recently I've been like addicted to watching videos or whatnot on YouTube and this is the beauty of it all, because like a lot of these people they're in third world countries and stuff like that. And you can tell, just by how their scenery look and stuff like that, it may not be so fancy and they may not have very much. But one of the things that I love most about watching the videos, and I'm going to show y'all some when I do some of these lives, right? Because I think this stuff is really cool to watch. One of the things that I love most about watching these videos is that they cook outside, right? And I know some people may be like, oh no, because we're spoiled. We're spoiled, especially as Americans and stuff like that. But this is what they have. And this is how they cook, right? So they cook outside. They have these cooking devices or whatever, like ovens and pots and pans and, things that they have created or put into place to be able to cook the food, right? And they gather what they can from the land, right? So whether it's vegetables, any type of animals or meats or whatnot that might be in that area where they're at. eggs, all different types of things, right? And even herbs. So like they'll have fresh herbs that they pulling like directly off a tree, and they have such a large amount of them. So one of the things I think is really cool about these videos is that you'll see these people from like these third world country. They live in villages. They live out. Yeah, there you go, Tanika. Yep. Wilderness cooking. They cook for villages. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Tanika. And so I love those videos. I've been so addicted to watching them because I watch how they cook like these mass amounts of food that honestly it look like it tastes like it's busting. Okay. But they cook like these mass amounts of food, and why they do that, and when they do that, they're feeding like the whole village. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole neighborhood, the whole village, they're making enough to where everybody can eat. The children is eating, the fathers is eating, the mothers is eating, the grandmas, the grandpa, everybody that's in that village. Nobody is going hungry that night after they make these recipes, and they, you know what I'm saying, they're cooking this food outside, but they're cooking it outside. They got these big old wots and pans and stuff that they making, and they cook this food that looks like it's really tasty, honestly. Now some of it I can't identify, and I don't know what it is, just to be very honest and clear, and it could be good. You know, you can't knock it till you try it. We can't be sure, but whatever it is they have available, they find a way to cook it, season it up, make it very tasty, I'm assuming, right? But aside from all of that, is nourishing, so no one is going hungry. And I like the fact that they cook in those mass amounts to feed everyone. You know, no children are going hungry. Nobody in that village is going hungry because they're cooking for everybody. And they make this stuff in such large amounts. You know, that's what just really blow my mind. And yeah, tag me, because I love looking at that. You know, it be looking flame for real. That food be looking like it be busting for real. Like I'd be like, oh, I want to taste it, you know. But one of the most beautiful things, like I said, you know, aside from the fact that it may be tasty, you know what I'm saying, or something, like we looking at it like that, I'm looking at it like they're feeding whole villages. They're making sure that nobody is going home hungry. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's beautiful to me, because I wish we had more of that energy when it comes to us who may live here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we walk past somebody, you know, homeless and sitting on the side of the road, hungry. They don't got nothing to eat. We looking at kids and stuff that might be running around, ain't had a meal all day. You know what I mean? And we don't look out like that for one another here in this country, because we so entitled. You know what I mean? Like we think everything is just going to be given to us, and then we can't get it in the way, you know what I mean, that they have taught us or told us we're supposed to get it. Then it's like, oh, well, okay, I guess you just don't get it. No, these people are living in third world countries. They out in the wilderness, and they're knowledgeable because they're very smart. So they know about certain foods that are healthy. They know about certain foods that are edible and are not poisonous. And they gather those foods. They know how to season them up, cook them properly, make it taste good. And they know how to take it and make it in mass amounts, right? So everybody can have a bowl or a dish of food and not go to bed hungry. So I think I want to add that to this segment when I'm, you know, doing some of these lives and stuff with the food and the culinary stuff and whatever, because I think that's important for us to see, right? Like you don't have to have a whole lot, and it don't even necessarily have to be the best or the highest quality, but there should be no reason for nobody to go hungry, period. And I know for sure there should be no reason for nobody to go hungry in the United States. As much as we got here, as much as abundance as we got here of food and resources and things of that nature, it should be no reason that nobody's going hungry. It's because of the heart and the mindset and how people move and operate that people are going hungry. It's not because we don't have the resources. It's because people just don't care. They don't care about feeding a village. You see what I'm saying? We got to have that mindset. Feed a village. Even though, you know, we might not technically necessarily live in a village, but that mindset and that heart set, we're going to feed the community. We're going to feed a village. We're going to make sure nobody goes to bed hungry tonight without a meal or something to eat. But anyway, y'all know how I get. I rant, and I apologize. Let's go ahead and get into the next video, y'all. And so the next one that we're gonna go ahead and get into is actually gonna be the last one. But we do got more to come, you know, because I'm gonna be doing these lives now with the food. I think that's we all can connect over that. We all can connect over breaking bread. You know, we got to go back to the soul food days where we all sit around the table and we eat together and we talk together and we break bread and we laugh and we joke and we clown and we love and, you know, we do all of those things. I think like, oh, we need more of that. We need more of that. But y'all, let's go ahead and get into this last one so I don't go ahead and, you know, run my mouth too long. So now we're going to go overhead and visit the United Kingdom, and we'll talk about the global pantry. So British food is a map of the British Empire, a mix of ancient traditions and global spices. So the vibe started in or with Roman imports and evolved into Sunday roasts, a meal designed to cook itself while the family was at church. The turning point of all of that was the Industrial Revolution, fish and chips. It became the world's finest fast food to feed factory workers quickly and cheaply. And then we'll get into the dish to mention, chicken tikka masala. It is the perfect example of British history, a dish with Indian roots adapted in Scotland to suit the British palate. It is as British as the Union Jack. So let's go ahead and get into this video, y'all. This one is a slightly longer. It's about 20 minutes, but we're going to watch in this video 25 working class British meals that fed a nation. So let me go ahead and put this up on the screen for us, y'all, and check out some of these recipes. Some dishes and recipes which a lot of us may know and make ourselves, and some maybe we don't, that we may want to try. But this is the beauty of it, right? Learning a little bit about history, learning a little bit about recipe, and you know, just breaking bread with one another and having good times. So let's go ahead and get into this video, y'all, and I will meet y'all in the chat.
Did you know that a simple tin of corned beef could feed an entire family for 3 days in 1950s Britain? There was a time when Britain's working-class kitchens told the story of a nation, not through fancy restaurants or celebrity chefs, but through steaming plates of honest food that stretched tight budgets and filled hungry bellies after long shifts. From the smoky back-to-back terraces of Birmingham to the mining villages of Wales, these 25 meals didn't just feed families, they built communities, sparked romances over shared plates, and created memories that lasted lifetimes. If you remember the smell of these sizzling on the hob after a long day at work, hit the like button and subscribe, because we're about to take a journey through Britain's most beloved working-class dinners. 1. Bangers and mash. In the industrial heartlands of 1920s, Britain, when money was scarce and stomachs were empty, bangers and mash emerged as the ultimate comfort meal. These weren't gourmet Cumberland sausages. They were thick, fatty, mysterious tubes of meat and filler that cost pennies and could feed a family of 6 when paired with mountains of creamy mashed potatoes. The gravy was made from whatever vegetables were wilting in the pantry. But as rationing tightened its grip, even these simple pleasures began to change. By the 1940s, wartime meant that bangers became more bread and less meat. Yet, families still gathered around kitchen tables, sharing plates and stories, making every forkful count. And just when rationing finally ended, the very nature of British family dining was about to change forever. 2. Toad in the hole. The name sounds ridiculous now, but the toad in the hole was pure genius wrapped in Yorkshire pudding batter. The magic happened in those heavy cast iron pans that every working class kitchen owned, pans that had been passed down through generations, seasoned with decades of family meals. But the secret ingredient wasn't the past, it was the ritual. Fathers would carve it ceremoniously at the table while mothers fussed over vegetables. Children would argue over who got the biggest portion. But as convenience foods crept into British kitchens, the art of making proper Yorkshire pudding began to fade. 3. Pie and mash Walk into any East End pie shop in the 1960s, and you'd find Britain's working class at its most honest. Sleeves rolled up, queuing for steaming plates of pie and mash that cost a few shillings and tasted like home. The pies weren't fancy. Minced beef, sometimes more gravy than meat, encased in pastry that was thick enough to hold its secrets. The mash was pure white mountains of potato, but it wasn't just food, it was identity, served hot and eaten fast. These pie shops were temples of working-class culture. Men in flat caps would share tables with dock workers still dusty from the day's labour. And then, as London changed and gentrification crept in, these pie shops began to disappear one by one. 4. Fish and chips. Before McDonald's, before pizza delivery, before the internet changed how we ate, there was the chip shop. Britain's first fast food empire, built on newspaper-wrapped dreams and mushy peas. Friday night was fish and chips night. Not because it was payday, even though it often was, but because it was tradition, ritual, religion. And the real magic happened in those tiny shop fronts that lined every high street. The fish was fresh cod or haddock, battered and fried until it was golden perfection. The chips, real chips, thick cut and fluffy inside, crispy outside, were doused in malt vinegar and sprinkled with salt until they glistened like jewels. Behind the counter stood the chip shop owners. They knew every customer's order, every family's Friday night ritual. But as frozen fish fingers and oven chips invaded home kitchens, the weekly pilgrimage to the chippy slowly began to fade. 5. Bubble and squeak. Monday morning in a working-class kitchen meant one thing. Yesterday's roast dinner was about to get a glorious second life as bubble and squeak. Cold potatoes, sprouts, cabbage, carrots, anything that had survived the weekend would be chopped, seasoned, and fried into crispy golden patties that tasted better than the original meal. But bubble and squeak was more than just clever cooking. It was survival. In homes where every penny counted, where waste was sin and creativity was necessity, this dish represented the genius of making do. But as prosperity grew and convenience foods arrived, the art of using every scrap was slowly being forgotten. 6. Corned beef hash. The tin opener was the most important tool in any working-class kitchen, and corned beef hash was its finest achievement. A tin of corned beef, a few potatoes, an onion if you were lucky, all fried together into a hearty, filling dish that could feed 6 people for less than a shilling. But the best part wasn't the eating, it was the gathering. Families would crowd around small kitchen tables, sharing from the same pan, talking about their days while scraping up the last crispy bits from the bottom. These weren't just meals, they were memories being made one forkful at a time. And then supermarket fridges filled with pre-prepared meals, and the art of transforming tins into feasts began to fade. 7. Spam fritters. When rationing ended but budgets remained tight, spam fritters became the treat that made Monday feel like Friday. Thick slices of processed pork shoulder, dipped in crispy batter and fried until golden, served with chips and beans. It was working-class luxury on a plate. But spam fritters were more than just cheap eating. They were rebellion. In a world that looked down on processed food, working-class Britain embraced it, transformed it, made it delicious. And then came the food snobs who declared processed meat beneath them, not realizing they were dismissing a cornerstone of British working-class cuisine. 8. Shepherd's pie. In the coal mining villages of Wales and the mill towns of Yorkshire, shepherd's pie wasn't just dinner. It was democracy on a plate. The foundation was always minced lamb, stretched with onions, carrots, and whatever vegetables were wilting in the pantry. But shepherd's pie was also the meal that stretched a Sunday joint into a week's worth of dinners. This was the meal that fed mining families after 12-hour shifts underground. A clever mother could make one small leg of lamb to feed her family for days, roasted on Sunday, cold on Monday, and minced for shepherd's pie on Tuesday. But as fresh meat became affordable year-round, the careful choreography of stretching Sunday's joint began to seem unnecessary rather than ingenious. 9. Liver and onions. Thursday night meant liver and onions in working-class kitchens across Britain. Calf's liver, lamb's liver, sometimes pig's liver when money was particularly tight. Whatever the butcher had that was affordable became dinner. But liver and onions represented something deeper than just budget cooking. The onions were the real stars, sliced thick and cooked slowly until they caramelized into sweet, golden strands. This was the meal that connected British families to their agricultural past, to a time when every part of the animal was used. But as prosperity grew and choice expanded, organ meats began their slow retreat from British tables. 10. Faggots and mash. In the Black Country, where coal dust settled on everything and hard work was a religion, faggots weren't just meatballs. They were edible hugs wrapped in caul fat and seasoned with decades of tradition. Made from pork, offal, breadcrumbs, and herbs, these weren't the prettiest things on the plate, but they were among the most delicious. But faggots were more than just economical eating. They brought people together. Every butcher had their own recipe, every family had their preference, every neighborhood had passionate debates about whose were best. But as supermarket freezer cabinets filled with mass-produced alternatives, the artisanal craft of proper faggot making slowly disappeared from Britain's high streets. 11. Cottage pie. When the Sunday roast was beef instead of lamb, Tuesday's dinner became cottage pie, shepherd's pie's beefy cousin. The process was the same sacred ritual. Mince the leftover beef, add onions and carrots, stretch it with gravy and vegetables until it could feed the whole family. This was the meal that turned Monday's roast beef into Tuesday's celebration. Every family had their own twist. Some added Worcestershire sauce for tang, others included frozen peas for color. But as ready meals appeared in supermarket freezers, the art of creating something special from yesterday's dinner began to fade. 12. Egg and chips. Sometimes the simplest meals are the most perfect, and egg and chips prove the truth every night in working-class kitchens across Britain. The chips came first, proper chips, thick cut and fluffy inside, fried until they were golden and crispy. Then, the eggs cracked into the same fat that had blessed the potatoes. But the magic was in the timing and technique. It was the meal for when pay packets were thin. But as exotic cuisines invaded British palates, simple egg and chips began to seem somehow primitive rather than perfectly satisfying. And if you're enjoying this journey through Britain's working-class kitchens, don't forget to subscribe. 13. Black pudding and mash. In the industrial towns of Lancashire and Yorkshire, where waste was sinful and every part of the pig was precious, black pudding became the breakfast that could fuel a 12-hour shift. Thick slices of blood sausage, studded with oatmeal and fat, fried until the outside was crispy and the inside remained soft and rich. Served alongside mountains of mashed potato, it was protein and comfort in its most concentrated form. But black pudding represented more than just economical protein. It was heritage. Recipes were passed down through generations, each family adding their own touches. Extra oatmeal for texture, different spices for flavor, variations.
All right, y'all. So just real quick. So have any of y'all had any of these dishes that they mentioned so far? And this one that they're speaking about right now, when it comes to blood sausage, have y'all ever had blood sausage before? Because I haven't. I've heard of it. I've seen it on the shelves and in the markets and the butchers and stuff like that. But I haven't tried it. I know some people cut it up. Sometimes they put it like in their rices and stuff that they make as well. But what do y'all think like about any of these dishes that he's mentioned so far? And when it comes to blood sausage, that's one of the ones I'm really curious about. Like, have y'all ever tried blood sausage? And Tanika said, nope, not interested. It may be really good for some of you. I don't know. I haven't tried it myself. Like I said, it's big on the shelves and stuff of some of the supermarkets I go to. I know we got a Hispanic supermarket that's here in my town. And when I go there, they sell that a lot. It's big there in the Hispanic supermarket. They like blood sausage. But I haven't tried it. I may give it a shot. You know what I mean? Or I may have tasted it and not even known, right? Because it could have been in somebody's rice aside or something that I'll probably eat. Because I'm gonna give a little taste of it. Just about anything, honestly. If it looks like they cooked it and they clean people, then I'm gonna give it a taste. You know what I mean? So I might have tasted it and not known, but I've never purchased it or cooked it or anything like that. But let's keep going because this is really interesting. I like, and a lot of these dishes and a lot of these food items that they're talking about, A lot of them I am familiar with and know about, and some I've tasted and some I haven't. But I think it's cool to listen to this type of stuff. So let's keep going, y'all. We almost done. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate it. All right, here we go.
In fat content that made each version unique, and then came the health scares and changing tastes that made blood sausage seem primitive rather than practical. 14. Steak and kidney pudding. When payday arrived and a few extra shillings jingled in working pockets, families might splurge on the king of British comfort food, steak and kidney pudding. The preparation was a labor of love that took most of the day. Chunks of beef and kidney would be browned and seasoned, then wrapped in pastry that was rolled thin and fitted into pudding basins like edible blankets. But this wasn't just Sunday dinner. This was a celebration. Steak and kidney pudding marked special occasions, birthdays, paydays, the end of particularly hard weeks. It was the meal that said, "We've made it through," that announced to the family that sometimes, just sometimes, they could afford to eat like kings. But as microwaves replaced steamers and convenience trumped ceremony, the long ritual of pudding making slowly disappeared from British kitchens. 15. Sausage and mash. Sausage and mash was the weeknight dinner that could transform the cheapest ingredients into complete satisfaction. The sausages were whatever the butcher had that was affordable, usually thick with breadcrumbs and mysterious with fillers, but the real secret ingredient was the ritual. Children would fight over who got the biggest sausage, parents would ensure everyone got equal portions of mash, and the gravy would be passed around like communion wine. But as food became more sophisticated and processed foods fell from favor, simple sausage and mash began to seem somehow insufficient. 16. Bacon and egg pie. In the mining communities of Wales and the industrial towns of the Midlands that could travel down mine shafts into factory break rooms and across fields to wherever hard work needed sustaining, the pastry was thick and sturdy, designed to protect its precious cargo during transport. But bacon and egg pie was more than just practical food. It was love made poor, that even when family members were scattered to their various labors, but as prepackaged sandwiches invaded lunchboxes and convenience stores lined every corner, the Sunday ritual of pie making for the working week slowly faded away. 17. Mince and tatties. North of the border, mince and tatties ruled Scottish working-class tables with the authority of tradition and the comfort of simplicity. Minced beef, onions, and potatoes, 3 ingredients that could feed a family. But mince and tatties represented something uniquely Scottish. The tatties were always boiled potatoes, floury varieties that would break apart slightly when mashed with butter and milk. They served as the perfect canvas for the rich mince, soaking up the flavors. And as Scotland changed and modernized, mince and tatties remained one of the few constants, a culinary anchor in a sea of social change. 18. Tripe and onions. In the mill towns of Lancashire and Yorkshire, where waste was sinful and every part of the animal was used, tripe and onions became the Wednesday night dinner that separated the adventurous from the squeamish. Honeycomb tripe, cleaned and prepared with the kind of care usually reserved for precious ingredients, would be simmered slowly with onions until it became tender and the cooking liquid transformed into rich, pale gravy. But tripe and onions was more than just nose-to-tail eating. It was about community. You either loved it or hated it. But as squeamishness overtook tradition and processed foods promised easier alternatives, tripe slowly vanished from British tables, taking with it centuries of culinary heritage. 19. Potato hash. When the week's vegetables were running low and the meat had already been stretched into yesterday's dinner, potato hash became the miracle meal. The potatoes would be diced small and fried until they developed a golden crust, their edges crispy while their centers remained fluffy. Any leftover vegetables would join the party. Cabbage, carrots, onions, whatever was available. But potato hash was also the canvas for creativity. Leftover meat could be stirred in, eggs could be cracked on top, cheese could be sprinkled over the finished dish. But as convenience foods multiplied and fresh ingredients became year-round luxuries rather than seasonal necessities, the art of making something from almost nothing began to fade. 20. Meat pie. Before Greggs conquered every high street, local bakeries produced meat pies that were architectural marvels of pastry and filling. They were robust constructions of thick pastry filled with minced meat, gravy, and vegetables. They could be eaten hot or cold, held in one hand while the other worked, carried in lunchboxes without fear. A good pie shared was friendship offered, and a warm pie at the end of a cold day was comfort delivered. But as chain bakeries standardized recipes, the distinctive character of local meat pies slowly disappeared from Britain's high streets. 21. Chips and gravy. In the industrial heartlands of Britain, where simplicity was virtue and excess was suspicious, chips and gravy became the perfect marriage of convenience and comfort. The chips had to be perfect. Thick cut, fluffy inside, golden outside, with just enough crispness to hold their structure under the weight of gravy. The gravy itself was an art form, but the ritual was sacred nonetheless. This wasn't restaurant food or celebration cuisine. This was the meal for when you needed comfort fast, when wages were tight, but spirits needed lifting. But as fast food chains imported different traditions, chips and gravy began to seem somehow outdated rather than timelessly satisfying. 22. Pasties. In the tin mines of Cornwall, miners needed food that could travel deep underground, survive hours in jacket pockets, and provide sustenance that would last through long shifts in darkness. The Cornish pasty was the perfect solution, a complete meal wrapped in edible packaging. The pastry was thick and strong, and the filling was layered carefully, meat and vegetables at one end, sometimes jam or fruit at the other. But pasties represented more than just practical eating. Crimping the edges with practiced fingers while her husband prepared for another dangerous descent into the darkness below. But as the mines closed and Cornwall transformed from industrial heartland to tourist destination, the humble pasty became a heritage curiosity. 23. Bacon sandwiches. Before artisanal bread and heritage pork transformed the humble bacon sandwich into gourmet fare, it was the working man's breakfast. The bacon was often streaky, fatty, and fried until it was crispy enough to shatter between teeth, but still retained enough fat to flavor the bread. But the bacon sandwich was more than just quick sustenance. It was ritual. Saturday mornings meant the smell of bacon frying while fathers read the paper and mothers prepared for the week's shopping. This was the meal that fueled weekend football matches, that sustained workers through overtime shifts, that provided comfort after late nights at the pub. The technique was crucial. Not too crispy, not too soft, with just enough fat left on to flavor the bread properly. And then health consciousness invaded British breakfasts, and the simple pleasure of a proper bacon sandwich began to seem somehow guilty rather than simply satisfying. 24. Jam roly-poly. When pudding was still called pudding and dessert was a foreign concept, jam roly-poly emerged from British working-class kitchens as the sweet ending that could transform any ordinary meal into a celebration. The suet pastry was rolled thin and spread with whatever jam was cheapest, usually strawberry or raspberry. It was the reward that made hardship bearable. Pennies had been saved throughout the week, when children had been good and fathers had avoided the pub. The preparation was a lesson in patience, rolling the pastry just right, but as convenience desserts filled supermarket shelves from British kitchens. 25. Bread and dripping. At the end of our journey through Britain's working-class table, we arrive at perhaps the humblest meal of all, bread and dripping, two ingredients that could turn Sunday's roast into a week's worth of sustenance. The dripping was liquid gold, white fat streaked with dark, meaty jelly. Spread on bread and sprinkled with salt, it was cheap, hearty protein that gave a working body everything it needed. But bread and dripping was more than just making do, it was making magic. This was the meal that bridged breakfast and dinner, that satisfied afternoon hunger when dinner was hours away. The ritual was sacred in its simplicity. Thick slices cut from yesterday's loaf, the jar of dripping brought from the pantry, the careful spreading that scraped every precious bit. And as prosperity arrived and simple pleasures seemed insufficient, bread and dripping retreated to memory, taking with it the last connection to a time when food was precious. Nothing was wasted, and satisfaction came from the simplest combinations of honest ingredients. These 25 meals didn't just feed Britain's working class. They built the foundation of a culture, created bonds between families, and provided the fuel that powered a nation through its most challenging and transformative years. From the Industrial Revolution through 2 world wars, these dishes adapted, survived, and thrived because they understood something that fancy cuisine often forgets. Food isn't just about taste, it's about love, community, and the simple satisfaction of a belly well filled after an honest day's work. Which of these brings back the strongest memories for you? Share your stories in the comments below, and let's keep these culinary traditions alive for future generations to discover and appreciate.
All right, y'all. So that was a quick breeze and a walk through a lot of great recipes that are derived and come directly from the United Kingdom, right? You know, around the British cuisine. But one of the things that we learn from that is that British cuisine is a story of 2 worlds. It's the ancient tradition of the countryside and the global influence of the British Empire. So for centuries, Sunday roast was the heartbeat of the home, a tradition born because families would put a large joint of beef in the oven before heading to church, returning to a perfectly cooked feast. The 19th and 20th centuries changed everything, though. The Industrial Revolution gave us fish and chips, the world's first true fast food for the working class. Then, through trade and migration, the United Kingdom embraced bold flavors from India and beyond. Today, the national dishes aren't just bangers and mash. It's the chicken tikka masalas and the dishes that are literally invented in the Scottish kitchen to bring the gap between East and West. From flaky crust and Cornish pastry to the spicy kick of a modern curry, British food is the ultimate melting pot of the North. So, y'all, you know that shepherd's pie versus cottage pie. We got lamb and we got beef. And both of those I love. I love me some lamb and I love me some beef and I love me a shepherd's pie. Okay. So we've seen some really great recipes there when it comes to the UK and Britain. So one of the things I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all now because I thought it would just be cute to do and interesting for us to dive into since we're talking about food right now. Let's go ahead and get into the camel hump, y'all, and the history of the camel hump. This is something that me and my boyfriend was talking about earlier, right? Because it popped up on his timeline and it popped up on mine too, and we both just happened to watch it and didn't know we both watched it. But it's very interesting. So apparently you can cook camel humps. And when it comes to camel humps, people often think that camel humps are full of water because that's typically what we know. Like out in the desert, the camel has this hump, and you know that hump has water in there, you know, so the camel will not be dehydrated and can survive. But honestly, within those humps and what has been found is that they are actually giant mounds of pure fat, making them the most prized delicacy in desert cultures. So where is it derived from? So we have the Bedouin tradition. For the nomadic Bedouin tribes of Middle East and North Africa, the camel was a ship of the desert. Since they couldn't waste anything, the hump became a symbol of ultimate hospitality. To serve a guest the hump was the highest sign of respect. The Silk Road influence, where traders in Central Asia and China, specifically the Xinjiang, and I don't think I said that right, and Inner Mongolian regions, have been frying camel hump for over 1,500 years. It was seen as a power food to help travelers survive the brutal Gobi Desert winters. And then we also got to talk about ancient Egypt. Some historical accounts and modern recreations suggest that even the pharaohs viewed camel hump as a dish of the gods, often slow cooked in clay ovens, which are, you know, called tandoors. So here's how they can cook it sometimes. They deep fry the hump, typically in the northwest China. Chefs slice the hump into shreds and flash fry them. It turns a unique purplish color and it's described as being crispy on the outside and meltingly soft on the inside. Then they also have the royal roast. The UAE or Saudi Arabia, the hump is massaged with saffron, rose water, and bazar, an Arabian spice mix. It's then slow roasted in a pit oven or a large rotisserie until the fat renders down, basting the meat in its own juices. They also have the stuffed camel, world's largest dish. In some extreme traditional wedding feast, a whole camel is stuffed with a lamb, which is stuffed with chickens, which are stuffed with fish and eggs. Child, they just getting their stuff on. The hump is the crown of the massive feast. Okay, so the flavor profile, they say, is up to you to decide. But they say it's very tasty. So I did pull up a video real quick, y'all. It's gonna be a bonus video. I'm gonna go ahead and show that to y'all in just a minute. I just gotta take a quick song break, y'all. So please rock with me to the end so we can get into this bonus video that I think it'd be cool for us all to watch together about these camel humps. I did not know that people eat camel humps, but they do. So I have a few things to show us, y'all. We'll be right back. Let me just play this song right quick. I'll see y'all in a bit.
Gloria in excelsis. That's a safe bet. From the impossible to the it is done. The battle's already over. The victory is won. So let the strings soar. Let the heavens open wide. I got the creator of the universe on my side. It's here to stay. The morning is here.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this bonus video real quick. And let me tell y'all a little bit about it. So like I said, basically, apparently people cook camel hump, and I did not know that. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of background when it comes to that. So we have the video here that I'm going to show y'all. Let's watch it together, and I will meet y'all in the chat. You will see exactly how they go about, preparing camel hump. So let's get into it, y'all, and I will meet y'all over there in just a bit.
Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Let's follow our activities today and hope you are entertained.
A monumental camel hump awaits, revered since 3000 BC, demanding patience and culinary respect. Creamy white fat pillar stands dense and pure, a sacred ingredient requiring ancient transformation. With ceremonial precision, the chef trims dense fat to ensure perfect uniform rendering later. The sharp cleaver draws cleanly through dense white fat, revealing its intricate inner structure. Whole cumin and coriander seeds meet stone mortar, echoing spice blends across millennia. Stone pestle crushes seeds rhythmically. Fine aromatic dust dances in bright sunlight beams. Fingers mix hand-ground cumin, coriander, salt in ceramic bowl, desert cuisine's foundation. Chef rubs coarse spice blend firmly over hump's surface, building that ancient protective crust. Granular spices cling to creamy fat, raw foundation ready to absorb deep, earthy perfume. Bracing arms lift the massive seasoned hump. Journey toward primal heat now begins. Carefully lowered onto cast iron rack above glowing embers, fire meets ancient fat. Fat immediately warms and glistens on hot metal. Gentle contact initiates slow rendering. Droplets hit embers with violent hiss. White smoke puffs as ancient history sizzles alive. Iron poker rearranges glowing coals. Balance is art. Too hot burns, too low delays. Single dried firewood placed gently at pit's edge, fueling slow burn with respect. Heavy iron hook rotates massive hump 90 degrees, ensuring perfect even heat distribution. Creamy transforms to deep golden crust. Caramelized exterior protects inner tenderness. Chef watches with serene patience. Time refined into art. Fire breathing life back. Shadows lengthen across stone kitchen. Sun measures hours, passing in slow transformation. Clear golden juices drip from puncture. Patience rewarded, perfection achieved at last.
3,000 years in the making. Now, we bring it home.
Thick rustic wooden board placed carefully. Worthy surface for this ancient delicacy. Straining arms lift the golden masterpiece from embers, 3,000 years in the making. Slow walk with golden hump toward table, heat shimmer rising from perfectly rendered ancient fat. Burnished golden crust glistens under sun, spice rub fused into rendered fat like desert treasure. Hands rest on wood beside the hump, quiet reverence after hours of patient primal transformation. Cleaver descends with purpose, 4,000 years of patience realized in one decisive, satisfying cut. Blade glides effortlessly through golden crust into butter-soft interior, juices pooling like liquid gold. Cross-section revealed, perfect layers of spiced meat and rendered fat, history made visible and edible. Cleaver tip lifts the thick slice. Inspection confirms success, impossibly tender. Small knife cuts tasting cube. Final verification before serving this bridge to ancient culinary wisdom. Eyes close as flavor floods the senses. Deep, primal, impossibly tender taste of desert history. Slow smile spreads, serene satisfaction confirming every hour of patience was profoundly, magnificently worth it. Coarse salt sprinkles like snowflakes. Final whisper to cut richness and elevate ancient spice perfume. Full presentation revealed. Sliced hump flanked by herbs. Triumphant rebirth of Pharaoh's forgotten feast. Rosemary sprig placed gently beside glistening slices. Rendered fat glistens like liquid amber. Earthiness modern cuisine forgot. Patience made edible and divine. Chef stands proud behind a dish. 3 millennia of culinary history resurrected through fire and time. Deep breath taken, profound connection felt with desert nomads who mastered patience long before us. Pan across rolling green hills, nature's witness to ancient technique reborn beneath generous sunlight. Camera glides across the feast, culmination of respect, time, and fire presented in humble simplicity. Second bite savored slowly, eyes close again, confirming transcendence. This dish truly conquers time. Crisp golden crust meets molten fat beneath. Patience transformed into an unforgettable sensory revelation now. Chef gazes toward the horizon, serene contentment after resurrecting history through simplest, most honest method. Final hero shot holds perfectly. Thank you for witnessing this ancient revival. Until next time, have a nice day.
All right, y'all. So yeah, that was the camel hump. Y'all seen how it was prepared. So I played that one first because it was the shortest one. The other one that I had that I was gonna play is longer because it show you like how they, they're out there in the desert. They capture the camel, they drag them home, they skin them, like they do all of those things. And I don't know if y'all like seeing that whole part or if you just like to see more so like the kitchen stuff and the chef stuff. So that's why I just played that one. But the commentary had me rolling, like the way they was talking. But that was interesting. Like they cooked up, and it was looking pretty tasty. I ain't even gonna lie. They cooked up this camel hump, and I didn't even know that was a thing. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Tanika. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know people eat camel hump. And I guess you can't knock it to your child because I don't know what it tastes like. But the way they prepared it and they put it in that video, child, it looked really good. But anyway, we have reached the 2 hour mark, 2 hour, 13-minute mark. So I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I don't want to hold you too much longer. Thank you so much for coming and kicking and rocking with me for some of these recipes, histories, and videos on these international cuisines. And I got a lot more to come. I'll be doing these type of segments a lot more often because I think, we all can break bread together, and food and cuisine can bring us together more, right? Because we all eat, we all like to eat. So watching some of this stuff is really, really interesting. And like I said, we'll get into some more interesting renditions of this segment as well. We can do seafood because I see, child, I'll be seeing these crazy seafood recipes. But I like, even when the people go out there and they catch these I don't know what they are, crabs, fish, all different types of things from the sea. They get some crazy things from the sea, child, but when they cook them up and they serve them up, they look tasty to me. So it's like I said, we can't knock it till we try it. You'd be surprised, right, what we can cook up and how good it may be. And we're also going to do the videos, like I said, where they be cooking out in the wild and out in the villages and stuff like that. And I mean, they make these large pots of food, like so they can feed the whole village and everybody can have something to eat. And I've really been like addicted to watching those videos as of lately. So I'll bring some of that to y'all too. We'll do different segments of that. But thank you all for supporting and coming to watch with me. This has been really fun. Thank you, Tanika. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live, y'all, and let y'all go, let y'all free for the evening. And I will talk to y'all and see y'all tomorrow on my next live. I can't be sure what it's gonna be yet. Maybe another food one, maybe some more politics. One of those two things, most likely. We shall see. But everybody have a good rest of your evening. It's evening time here for me, but whatever respectful time zone you are in, I hope you have a good rest of your day. And you're filled with some good food, some laughter, and some happiness. And I will talk to y'all on the next live. Thank you so much for all your support. Golden signing out. Bye.
Ooh. A roof above, a shelter from the storm, a gentle hand to keep your spirit warm, a plate of food, a mind that's free to learn, a simple peace, a righteous wage to earn. These are the needs, the bedrock and the base, the sacred ground of the whole human race. But the screaming and selling something cheap, while the real world babies cry themselves to sleep. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with a right to be loved, a right to be made whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator is where we all belong. We are human, with more than they can prize, beyond the hateful and the loaded dice. We're human, worth more than they can prize, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. They're painting pictures, twisted and real, teaching our children how they ought to feel. Their values in the label on your shoes, or the filtered life you desperately choose. They magnify the hate, they celebrate the greed, and plant a poison, a suffocating weed. We gotta reach our children, pull them from the glow, and show them a beauty that the media don't know. Yo, check the vision, the mission of the television, spitting division, a mental prison. Got the youth chasing likes, addicted to the feed, ignoring the hunger, the fundamental need. They building paper idols on a digital stage, putting our future daughters in a virtual cage. Now we gotta break the cycle, gotta cut the cord. The real word is powerful, mightier than the sword. So we teach them about their history, teach them about their grace, teach them about the power in every single face. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with a right to be loved, a right to be made whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator, it's where we all belong. We are human, worth more than they can prize, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. Human, worth more than they can prize, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. We will build a wall where every voice is heard and valued. Yeah. And truth is not a whisper, but a mighty, thundering word. A word of justice, a word of peace, a promise that the fight will never cease. This ain't just a track, this a call to action. For every mother, father, every single fraction of the community holding it down on the ground. Time to get loud, make a revolutionary sound. Look your child in the eye, tell them that they matter. Tell them their spirit's something that no lie can shatter. Tell them knowledge is the weapon, love is the shield, and the truth is the harvest we gonna grow in this field. Yeah! Yes, we are. Teach the children, near and far. Let them know their sacred work. Fight for every single soul.